All right, welcome back to another Koenji-shan Reviews. And this, my fine friends, is episode number 1 of Koenji-shan Reviews, the manga show. Yes, it's not very original, but that's what we'll call it for now. As you know, on this channel, I do manga cop profiles, manga hauls, manga reviews, manga shop tours and reviews, and I thought I'd just put all these pieces together into one show, one package, so to speak, so that there's something in there for everyone, right? The frequency might not be as much as it has been up to now, once or twice a week. I might stretch it out to like a video every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Let's see how it goes. It depends on how long it takes me to edit all of this down at the end of the day. But glad to have you with me again. And this is a Koedo Pills called Ruri. Koedo is a brewery, I believe, out in Nagano. So cheers, let's celebrate. All right, first off, let's get into a little bit of manga news. So there's a couple of events this month. First of all, Kojima Miyako, most famous for, she's of course a horror mangaka, who's most famous for probably Nikuko-chan. And I don't know, I did a video on her before, mangaka profile video. I think I have around 7 of her tankobon or so. So if you're interested in her, check that out. She had a little stand set up with prints at Tokyo Hands in Shibuya for a couple weeks here in March. And I was able to get down there and pick this up. This is hand signed and stamped. And it's a print. It was relatively inexpensive too. It was 3,300 yen as is, like this. For 2,200 yen, I could have gotten a smaller, like A4 size, but 3,300 yen is cheap for this. And it will be hanging on my wall right over there. Gotta love Kojima Miyako. She is dope. So that event went down and I was able to pick up that print. Also, this month from March 16th to March 31st, Eguchi Hisashi. Of course, Eguchi Hisashi is probably most famous for Stop Hibari-kun, which was serialized from 1981 to 83. But his upcoming event at Bunkamura in Shibuya is going to be Records. Of course, he did, I think it's record, actually. Record, not plural. Of course, he did a lot of CD and record covers throughout his career, and he put out a book called Record 1992 to 2020, and the exhibition is titled under the same name, so I'm sure he's going to have a whole bunch of his original artwork or prints up of different album covers he did over the years, and I'm hoping to pick up a print or something cool when I go down to that exhibition. I actually did get a case of shochu. I think it was about a year and a half ago they had for sale. This one's empty, but I bought a box of 4 of them. Got a few more displayed, but it's pretty dope, right? So I'm looking forward to the Eguchi Hisashi event this month, and hopefully I'll be able to take some vids down there. I don't know about the rules at Bunkamura, but we'll see. We'll see what's up. So that was that as far as events go. In news, of course, this is news I care about. Maybe you don't care about it, but I do. Tsuge Yoshiharu and Chiba Tetsuya. Of course, Tsuge Yoshiharu is famous for The Man Without Talent, which I have here, or Muno no Hito. And Chiba Tetsuya is famous for Ashita no Jo, the famous boxing manga that ran for years and years and years. They were inducted as Academy members into the Japan Art Academy. They opened up a new manga division. It's the first time manga has been recognized by the Japan Art Academy, which has been around for, I believe, 103 or 105, a little over 100 years. So it's nice that they're finally recognizing manga and mangaka. Tsuge Yoshiharu put out a comment comment, basically saying that he was happy to receive the award and he hopes the new division elevates manga, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, until he dies, he'll be receiving 2.5 million yen a year as an Academy member, which is around $21,000 or so. So I'm sure he and Chiba Tetsuya are stoked about that. Also, okay, final news, some new releases. So Bonten Taro Gekiga Publishing, which is right down the road from me, it's down in Nakano, near Nakano Broadway. They had a crowdfunding for this, Bonten Taro's newest release. Well, new, I mean, he's dead, but it's a collection of his works, and it's got some cool photos in it and stuff. This is 376 pages long. It's big. A couple years back, Black Hook Press put out Badass Babe, Sex and Fury and Other Smashes, which is awesome, but it was only 180 pages. And I did enjoy this, and this is an English release, so you can probably still track down Badass Babe somewhere. But as far as the Japanese release goes, we get more than double the content. So I'm stoked about this. It also came with a clear file folder and 3 stickers. So I was stoked to do that. Also, one of my buddies was pointing out, who also crowdfunded this, that less than 300 people crowdfunded it. They reached their goal, so they're able to publish this, but how many of these were printed, I wonder? Was it 300, 400, 500? I don't know, but I'm telling you, if you can get your hands on one, if there's some available in the retail market, I would pick one up because I'm sure they're going to raise in value over time. And our last bit of news here is that the next round of Otomo Katsuhiro, famed for Akira, of course, the next round of his complete works are going to be released on March 18th. I did a video on the first round in January, and of course that was Akira Storyboards 1 and Domu were the 2 releases then. I've mentioned before that in my neighborhood at least, you cannot find Akira Storyboards 1. There are copies of Domu everywhere, but no more Akira Storyboards 1. So I strongly recommend pre-ordering Akira Storyboards 2 if you want to get it while it's available. And then Boogie Woogie Waltz, I'm still on the fence whether or not I'm going to pick it up, but I am a psycho, so I probably will. And hopefully, like last time, I'll be able to pick it up a little bit earlier than the 18th and get out a little quick kind of side video, first look video, so you can see the insides before it goes on sale at bookstores and online. And that, my friends, is the manga news for this month. Let's take a break, and I'll be back with some more stuff. Do you want to see some of the most vile, gory, disgusting, and just wild and weird stuff from my collection of over 1,200 volumes of rare and weird manga? Then head over to Koenji-shan Reviews on Patreon. That's where I post all of my stuff that is not safe for traditional SNS like YouTube and Instagram, and don't worry, I post regular stuff over there too. At least 1 video a week, sometimes 2, and I put up scans, I put up posts of other things that I'm working on. So head over to Koenji-shan Reviews on Patreon, just $3 a month. It's the only tier, unlimited access to everything on there. All right, let's get back to it. All right, let's get into some manga shops. So as you know, I like to go digging at mom and pop manga shops and used bookstores around Tokyo, and I like to make videos on them. And this month, I was visiting a friend about a 15-minute bicycle ride from where I live here in Koenji, and we walk around the corner from his house. We're going to hop over to the Konbini, grab a beer for the afternoon, and there's this music blasting out of this shop and a bunch of funky stuff outside, and then I spy a little bit of manga, and then my buddy is like, I'm like, what's this place? My buddy's like, oh, this is Book Mart. This place is wild. And I was like, he's like, maybe you'd like it. He's not a manga collector, but he knows I'm really into it. And, Book Mart is such a generic name, like Book Off. I thought it was, when I'd seen it on the a map once when I was looking around on Google Maps, and I thought it was just some chain tent or something like that, some chain shop. But no, it is awesome. So let's take a look at the inside of the shop and what I picked up while I was there. Alright, this is the outside of the shop, like I was saying, just packed with junk. I didn't dig out here too much, but I did look through the discount stuff a little bit. There's some cool stuff mixed in, but that's not a real cat, just so you know. There was some stuff mixed in, but nothing that really popped out at me. Some konbiniban up here, and a horse's head. I guess he tie-dyes his own shirts and sells them out front here, so maybe I'll dig through those. The center aisle in the shop is mainstream manga on the right and CDs on the left, but if you look straight ahead, you can see he's got all kinds of junk in here. So there's a lot to dig through in here, and it is not very well organized. There's some Sakabashira Himiri here as well. You know, I thought about getting Aka Tights Otoko, the red one there, but it was a little bit more expensive than I think it was worth, but most of the stuff in this shop is very reasonably priced. But again, you know, you'll have like computer instructional books, and then right above them, Mizuki Shigeru, Kamimura, Hino Hideshi. So you really got to dig around in this shop. Old issues of Shonen Jump. Lucky for me, so we started talking about manga. I showed him some pictures of my collection. He realized what a psycho I am, and he just started pulling stuff out of boxes for me and showing me stuff that he was recommending. Definitely found some cool stuff, which I will show you here in a moment after we look at the inside of this shop. Again, a little bit more mainstream stuff here. Ashita no Jo. But there's Inosan, or Innocence, which I've been looking for, and I didn't even notice it until looking at this video. That's one of the awesome things about doing these videos, is I find stuff when I'm going back and editing that I didn't notice the first time when I was in the shop. We're getting closer to my section, meaning the stuff that I tend to gravitate towards. And again, weird stuff all mixed in. Never read Beck. Probably never will. Here we go. That yellow one I've been looking at, but there's one near a shop near my house. There's some Morohoshi, some Umes, some Tsuge Yoshiharu, which I picked up some of that stuff. Ishimori Shotaro, or Ishinomori Shotaro, depending on the era. Not to sound like a broken record, but again, you really have to dig through here if you want to find what you are looking for. Some more old magazines, Shonen Magazine. Cobra, I'd like to get the manga of Cobra. I watched a lot of the anime. There's Tekkonkin Kurito by Matsumoto Taiyo. Complete edition, and just more junk packed in the corners. Hopefully next time when I go back, I'll be able to dig through some of his retro magazines and just piles of stuff. Lots of Saito Takao, Gogo 13, and Nekome Kozo, Cat-Eyed Boy, which you will see here soon. And finally, here's the magazine section. There's some wild stuff in here. Spy vs. Spy, Mad Magazine, that was an English version. He wanted $15 for it, or 1,500 yen. But yeah, this is Playgirl Tokushu, which is not like Playgirl in America, it's actually girls. Yeah, sometimes I like to dig through these old men's magazines for weird manga, mostly Gekiga, but I did not on this trip. But I'm sure I'll have time to go back again, and I know I'll be back again. But this is Bookmart. Now let's take a look at what I picked up while I was there. Alright, let's take a look at what I picked up while I was over at Bookmart. Toritsu Kase. So first of all, we talked about him earlier in the news segment, Tsuge Yoshiharu's Ikiteita Yurei, or The Living Ghost. This is, of course, a reproduction, because, I mean, look at how pristine it is, but I got this for 950 yen. It's beautiful. Hardcover. Of course, I'm a sucker for hardcovers because they're so hard to come by here. And this is a reproduction from his Kashihon era. Pretty cool. Haven't dug into it yet, so I don't want to give anything away for myself. But if it's dope, I will review it. I also picked up Okoshi Kotaro, who is an Ero Guro mangaka. I have one of his other releases as well. I've only read the first story so far about a dentist yanking the teeth out of this poor young girl's mouth. Ugh. Which he collects. You can imagine a horrible dentist like this is doing some other stuff as well. This really is the kind of stuff that I go over in my Patreon page because, yep, YouTube and other SNS platforms are not very friendly when it comes to this kind of stuff. All right, let's see what else I got. Umez! Yes, you can never have too much umez in your life, and I've been really collecting hard the last year or so. I got some real cool other Tankobon series stuff recently. Last month January? I got the Sun Comics series, and I just found a whole bunch of the Halloween series ones. But at any rate, this is Joseki ni Hisoka ni Atsumare. So let's quietly gather at the castle ruins. This is also a reproduction or a repress of one of his early Kashihon things. How much did I pay for this? 1,400 yen. 1,400 yen. It's about the same era that he did the Shimai sisters. Wait, was that it? Shimai meets sisters. What's the name of that one? I can't read it from here. Yamabiko Shimai. So the Yamabiko sisters. That's what I wanted to say. Sick. And I found the full 2-volume set of Nekome Kozo, or the Cat-Eyed Boy. Of course, is also available in English. I got volume 1 for 500 yen, volume 2 for 350 yen. I'd like to get the full Tankobon series, but they're pretty hard to track down and can get pretty pricey. So I opted for this option out of necessity. Also want to support Yosuke over there at Mart. And man, it's just a great series. Watch the old 70s. I want to say they're anime, but they're not really anime. They're kind of cartoon, kamishibai, sometimes just moving paintings. Anyways, check out Cat-Eyed Boy on YouTube. They have a whole bunch of episodes up there. It is trippy. When I showed Yosuke at Mart some pictures of my collection, he just started pulling stuff out of boxes for me and showing me everything that he had, which was dope. And he pulled out this set, which is Itoshi no Beti Ma Monogatari, which I've shown before. I got the full 17-volume set, but then I was looking through it and I realized I was missing volume 10. He didn't have a full set, so he was selling these individually, and he had volume 10, which is so awesome. I mean, it just feels so good to round out that series. Of course, this is Koike Kazuo and Kano Seisaku. I'm a huge fan, so that is a score. And speaking of Koike Kazuo, I also ran across this. This is Babon Keisatsu by Koike and Kamimura Kazuo. So I got this 2-volume set for 1,200 yen, which is sick. And I just started reading it. It's about a a Puerto Rican police officer working in a mostly white precinct in New York. So far, I haven't really gotten into the death and violence so far, but it is definitely Kamimura. Once you look at the girl, it's a dead giveaway. And you gotta love Koike. So I'll probably do a review on this after I finish it, if I really enjoy it. What else did I get while I was over there? 2 more things. I found Highway Star by Otomo Katsuhiro, of course, Akira fame. And this is one of his earlier releases. I want to say from 83. Yeah. Okay, the Tankobon was released in 83. It originally was serialized in 1979. So, Highway Star, I'm stoked to get this. I've only read a little teeny bit of it here. Yeah, there's some foxing. Yeah, it's not in the best condition, but 500 yen, my friends. And something that doesn't have foxing and it is in pristine condition that I got over there. This is Kubikiri Asa, or the beheading morning, something like that. This is by Kazuo Koike Kazuo, and Goseki Kojima Goseki. This is a brand new 8-volume set. I got it for 4,000 yen, which is amazing. He said that the publisher was throwing away copies, getting rid of copies, and he was able to score a couple sets. There we go. Brand new, still all wrapped. So I am stoked to get this set. And man, my Koike and Goseki and Kano Seisaku, my collection is getting Ikegami Ryoichi. My collection is getting out of control at this point. But that is what I picked up over at Bookmart. Toritsukase. And if you're ever in West Tokyo, I strongly recommend going down there and tell Yosuke Sean sent you. All right, let's move on. All right, now let's take a look at some of the titles that I've been reading this month. All right, let's take a look at what I am reading. I found this awesome used bookstore called Nekonote, or Cat's Paw, down in Nishi Ogikubo, which is just a few stations by train from my place. And I really don't go down that way, but I'm sure I'll be profiling it on one of these episodes. And they have tons and tons of magazines, especially the stuff from just like 2-3 months ago you could get really cheap. So I picked up some monthly Comic Beam magazine. This is where they're releasing Evil, Atsushi Kaneko's newest series, and the 2 issues of this that I got actually go up through volume 3, which has been currently released. So I mean, the contents in here I already have in the tankobon, but this big size is pretty sick. Of course, cheap paper because it's monthly, but this big size is so dope, right? There's some other cool stuff in here. There's Hanawa. Hanawa, no, Maruo. Look, you know what? I bookmark pages and then I forget I bookmarked the pages. Maruo Suehiro. Angura. So that's pretty sick to find some Maruo in there. And we also have some Tanabe Go in here as well. So, you know, I used to not pick up monthly manga magazines, and I never pick them up new, but when I run across some cheap used, I definitely do. And yeah, sticking with the magazine theme, Kano Seisaku cover here. This is manga Dai Gekito, or the extremely violent fight manga. I don't know. It's basically like sexy manga and action manga kind of all mixed together. I got volumes 2 through 8 of the Kano Seisaku covers. So I've kind of flipping through. There's some good stuff in these, but these were also dirt cheap, like 240 yen each. Bam! I scored The Art of Hino Hideshi Hino, the art book. These go for, at Mandarake, it's 5,000 yen, about 50 bucks. I scored this one for 1,320 yen, I believe. So about $13. And I can't say I'm really reading it, but I've had it out and I keep on looking at it since I got it because it's so dope. I'll do a full flip through of this on my Patreon page or here. Who knows? We'll see. I can't totally neglect this channel just for this one show, I think. Who knows? Maybe I will. I got, look at this big brick. Berserk. This is the Konbiniban. I got 6 volumes of it, half price. I think it was so cheap. I think I paid, I don't know, around $13 or something for it. I like the beginnings because they have character profiles and a fold out. Someone in our Discord, Koenji-chan Reviews, there's an invite here on the banner and a link down below. Someone in our Discord was joking that if you're trying to read this in bed and drop it on your face, you're going to get a concussion, which is probably true. Look at that big brick. But the paper quality is so poor that, you know, it doesn't really weigh a ton. But, yeah, anyways. I'm not a total psycho. I do have a heart, I swear. And I've been reading The Complete Mouse. Of course, Art Spiegelman. I don't know. I picked this up to read to the kids, to be honest. But in the mornings, I like to spend about 10-15 minutes waking up the brain by actually reading some English, because I don't read a lot of English for pleasure. And this is what I'm reading right now. I believe I'm on chapter 3. Excellent, excellent, especially in these trying times. More Gekiga King series, this time number 90. I've shown Aiue Oh Boy before. I had volumes 1 and 6. The other day I was at Mandarake in Shibuya and I ran into volumes 2 through 5. So I started reading volume 2, which I am very excited for. Very, very excited for, because volume 1 was wild, man. It was so wild. And volume 1 I did a flip through also on my Patreon page. And finally, we're getting towards the end of the show. The last thing I'm reading, and this one really would knock you out, give you a concussion if you dropped it on your head or on someone else's head. This is Nyohan Bo. Bo as in Bozu, as in priest. Johan is crimes against women. This is wild. So we have this cycle of a head priest, hardcore dude, man, in his hunchback minion. But I'm halfway through this right now, and for some reason, despite all of the horrible shit he does, you start to kind of like him as the stories go on. I'm not too sure. So this is part of a 3-volume set, and they are all big, thick monsters. So I'm excited to get into this later. As I mentioned before, I'd done a flip through of Prince Shotoku on my Patreon, and I'm sure that the members over there are going to request me to do a flip through of one of these as well. And that, my fine friends, is what I'm reading at the moment. All right. Okay, so I know a lot of you like my manga haul videos that I put out each month, but last month in February, I picked up around 80 volumes of stuff. There's just no way I can go through all of that. So instead, here, I'm just going to do my manga pickups for the month, the stuff that I picked up that I'm really, really stoked about. So let's take a look at those. Now, let's look at some of my manga pickups for the month. Like I said before, I can't do a manga haul of everything I picked up, but these are some of the gems. So first of all, I found these. These are volumes 2, 4, and 5 of Akira the Anime. These were released in 1988 to promote the anime, of course. And so check out the insides of these. If you get the full 5-volume set, it usually runs somewhere between if you're lucky, $30. If you're unlucky, $50, $60. I found each of these for 110 yen each, so about $1 each. And I was able to score these at a new bookstore that I found that I will be reviewing probably in the next episode of this show. So that was a score. Another great series that everyone should get, which is also available in English, is Lady Snowblood. Yes, more Koike Kazuo, more Kamimura Kazuo. And I just cannot be stopped here. That's all there is to it. And I got the Tankobon series, all 4 volumes for 3,000 yen. Maybe I'll do, I have a couple other segments that I'm not doing in this episode, but one thing I'm thinking about doing is kind of manga collecting and manga hunting tips for those of you that do want to get Japanese titles out of Japan. It's been a little bit hard these days because there's hell with shipping internationally. In some places like Australia and Canada, you just can't even ship to at all. But Lady Snowblood, there's a movie by the same name. This has been released multiple times in multiple formats, but I wanted to get the 4 tankobon set. So I'm stoked to have this, and Kamimura's artwork and Koike's as well is just amazing. But his classic ladies. So I'm stoked to have gotten this finally. And Nikudan. So Flesh Bomb era manga means Fukushima Masami. I got Prince Shotoku here, or Cho Gekiga Shotoku Taiji. So I did a full review of this on my Patreon page if you want to see the whole insides. It is insane. It is wild. It is ultra violent. And I also picked up this month his other series, Nyohanbo, which I'll talk in more detail about in a different segment. But if you can track down any Fukushima Masami, I strongly recommend doing so. They're getting harder and harder and harder to find. Another thing that I've wanted for a long time that I finally got and was just released in English through... Oh, shit. Who was it? It's on the tip of my tongue. The publishers, Last Gasp Publishing, put out Heaven's Door, Koike Keiichi, and he's a tripper. He's a self-professed drug user who has done every drug on the planet except peyote. That's what he says. That's not substantiated by any fact. But wild, intricate artwork. This volume has a sick fold out here. And he is a tripper. I liked Heaven's Door so much that I tracked down Ultra Heaven, which was his 3-volume series, all about drug use. So it's set in a world where everyone has access to drugs, whether it be injectable drugs or digital drugs. And man, I just finished volume 3 yesterday. It is, I think the quote on the back was something like a drug in paper form. So I was getting this and Heaven's Door conflated before because they're both, Ultra Heaven, Heaven's Door, but this came after. And this is specifically, it's one story. It follows our main protagonist here, Kabu, and who eventually becomes Heaven. And while Heaven's Door is a collection of shorts, unrelated shorts. So this is great. And I mean, let's try to find a trip. Look at this dude. And this is him tripping in the park. The artwork is insane. And I will definitely be doing a full flip through of all 3 volumes of this because this is not available in English. But even if you can't read it, just looking at the insane artwork makes it worth picking up. I mean, I love the way he panels. The expressions are great. When he's tripping, there's like a serious flow to it. So like here as he's running through the crowd because he's tripping out. But is he really running through a crowd? So much movement here. So you have the people, that's the sound of the police car, stretching throughout the panels, kind of bringing it all together. But then you have him running, and we can kind of see the path that he's running in, and it slowly close-ups to his eye. I mean, I just love the way it's done. And he does a lot of very symmetrical stuff too. Wow. Man, it makes me want to trip some balls, dude. These kind of collage-like pages, full-page spreads with speech bubbles just kind of popping up here and there. Wild stuff. Ultra Heaven. So be on the lookout for a future video where I just profile Koike Keiichi. You know, I don't want to go through too much stuff here, but here's something else that I picked up. I do like to pick up my share of smut. So this is Punch no Kita, Nude for Men, vintage adult men's magazines from the 1970s. So and Punch did Manga Black Punch, which was a famous Gekiga manga magazine in the 70s that featured so many like great Gekiga artists like Kasama Shiro or Iijima Ichiro, or just so many people were published through Punch. And Punch put out quite a few publications in the 70s. So while these are men's magazines, they're littered with manga and illustrations because of its close ties with mangaka. And this one is in pieces because I took it apart, scanned it, made a slideshow, and put that video up on my Patreon page, so you can go check that out if you want. And then these are Soft magazine, and this is also some of this weird stuff that I'll put up on my Patreon page. Also, see all those bookmarks? That's all illustrations or manga, so there's a lot of fun stuff in these as well. And those are my main recommendations for this month. All right, let's move on. All right, that brings us to the end of episode 1 of Koenji-shan Reviews, the manga show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions or any questions, please let me know in the comments down below, and hit that sub button, man. When you subscribe, it helps me out a ton, helps me get these weird manga titles, and my weird ass out to, more people. And remember, I have a Patreon page, Koenji-shan Reviews, where I show the most vile, disgusting, horrid, and often not safe for work flip-throughs and reviews. I'm just kidding. I also show some normal stuff on there too. So hop on over there if you want some more additional content, and I'm going to be pumping more stuff out over there in between these videos. Again, thank you all out there for watching. You are all awesome. And until next time, matane.